What are the statistics that the eggheads say? Something like 80% of the ocean remains unexplored, and 90% of marine species have yet to be classified. Fascinating stuff, fellas. It really is. But this tidbit may be more remarkable. Someone along the way figured out that creatures hundreds of feet down in the dark make for excellent table fare. It wasn't an egghead who figured that one out, I can tell you that. Two parts of the Atlantic, two deep-drop species. Let the hook and cook competition begin.
He just ate it. He was on it. Woo! Awesome.
There are two sides to every fishing story, and this season we tell both. Water pressure, the lack of light. For humans, the ocean bottom may as well be another planet. That's why bottom fishing moves at a different speed than hucking topwaters or trolling. It requires correctly reading the bottom, positioning, bait choices, timing, and patience, friends. Patience! Bottom fishing doesn't deliver explosive eats or leaps or epic visuals. But you'll like the look of the fish box when you're done. For this episode, we deep drop hundreds of feet down, 1,000 miles apart. First, we head to Ocean City, the coastal town on Maryland's eastern shore that draws in spring breakers and summer vacationers from Baltimore and Washington, D.C. Ocean City has evolved from quiet shoulder seasons to something of a year-round attraction for travelers of all kinds. Its fishing reputation is largely built on its white marlin fishery, but it's October in OC, when a cold front can turn off the ocean like a light switch. Luckily, the bottom stays open 24/7. That's where you'll find tilefish. The Marley is one of Ocean City's best-known sport fishers and charter operations. It's a marlin fishing machine. But bottom fish, which lurk in the graveyards of the mid-Atlantic, are also a target species.
We had the chance to fish with Captain Mark Hughes on the Marley this week. There had been a decent bluefin bite last week, and we stayed on it for about 3 hours, and it kind of didn't happen. So then we moved off into 50 fathoms at first, and we caught some blue line tilefish. And then after that, we moved off into the deeper water over the edge, over 100 fathoms, and we were able to catch some really nice golden tilefish. It's a long way down.
Found them.
Up next, things get deep. Really, really deep. Ocean City used to be one of the beach towns where the stoplights blinked in the off-season. Today, Sunset Marina is busy with boats and charter operations like the Marley. Tilefish live on the edge of the continental shelf from 30 to 150 fathoms. They feed primarily on invertebrates near the seafloor, including shrimp, crabs, worms, sea urchins, and snails.
There's a big color here.
There's a big color there, big golden. Look at that golden. That is a big golden.
That's nice.
Got it there. Look at that.
Consistency of a lobster, and they taste like just like a fish. Very big flaky chunks, firm fish. They're great to eat. Live right down there in 900 feet of water. It's crazy what lives down there.
Another nice one. Oh yeah.
Oh, nice one.
20 pounder. 18?
Sure. Really good eating fish. They got these big danglers on the top of their heads. Don't really know what they're for, but these things are big, fat. They sit down on the bottom, bury themselves in the mud, and wait for a piece of meat to come by. Open these big old mouths, slobber it down, and ready to go. They picked the wrong bait today, I will say that.
I'm big on the hook and cook with our fishing trips. I try to sell all my customers to do a hook and cook. We'll go out and catch a few, bring them back to the marina. Chef will cook them up, and it just expands the adventure they were just on.
As long as I got bait, it's fit.
We hand over our take to the Rice House Bistro, an Asian fusion restaurant not far from the famous boardwalk. While not exactly an A-list game fish like white marlin, tiles are coveted for their lean, white, flaky meat and sweet flavor. Its fat content is around 5%, double that of the average snapper. While we've got a pro on the job, tilefish is a hard fillet for an amateur to mess up. Next, it's off to South Florida to catch the Tilefish's competition for today's special, Vermillion snapper. one coastal vacation town to another. We depart Ocean City for Palm Beach, Florida, 70 miles north of Miami. Sure, it's a zip code change for the one percenters, but it's also a year-round fishing town where the Gulf Stream comes within a few miles of shore. Winter in Palm Beach offers plenty of options for filling the fish box. While they don't deliver poundage, vermilion snapper are a delectable but rare menu item. We head out of Sailfish Marina with Captain Greg Bogdan of Permitted Charters, who takes us to a couple of his deep drop spots.
Some of the deep water humps out here hold a variety of fish, and that's most of the time we're catching the tunas out there on some kind of hump. And the vermilion snappers are always on that same structure in that 250 to 400 foot range. Normally on that drift, I'll move up in front of the hump. The current moves pretty quick here, so I like to get in front of the structure and deploy the live bait first, and then we drop the bottom rod down and we kind of multitask.
I love this. I got a counter on here, electric reel. It's a lot of hand cranking for me coming up from 400 feet. So we're gonna give this a whirl.
Yeah, Mark's got a rig down for vermilion snappers. There's a couple other kinds of snappers here too. Donahue. I hope it's a good stringer. Put our commercial guy Mark on the bottom rod. He did some commercial fishing in the Keys for a while. See if he can get us some snapper dinner.
I'm trying to catch some blackfins, but there's a nice mark down on the bottom. And they've been catching some vermilion snappers out here with a good school, so drop down a bottom rig there, chicken rig. Got a couple of fish on here.
I want 4 nice ones on there, Mark. Not 5, not 3. I'm thinking maybe sauteed, maybe some blackened snapper.
Here we go, buddy. Looks like dinner.
A couple.
Yeah. I think
Maybe
you did
3,
exactly what
maybe
you
the
asked
magic
for.
number.
It could be the magic
The
number,
magic
buddy.
number.
What you want, 4?
Here we go, 4.
Here we go.
I'll have that one. That one looks
Excellent
tasty.
job.
The vermilion snapper is a small to medium-sized fish species that can grow up to 24 inches and weighs up to about 6 pounds.
That's a beautiful fish.
Its striking red color comes from its skin pigmentation, which changes based on the water depth. They typically live in depths up to 400 feet and are found near structures, reefs, and rocky bottoms.
I say whatever you're holding is what you bring home. I'm on the way out the door.
Back down there and make another drift.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
Snapper tacos.
For our finale, the Reds keep it coming, with another meat fish mixed in.
Battle of the reels going on, electric versus manual.
Using the Fathom electric. Pretty nice setup. They are awesome eating. I mean, it's a super pretty fish too. They remind me of a queen snapper with the color on them. And they're in big groups, so when you find a school, you know, you got a chance of getting some food pretty quick. You can catch multiple at a time, and they're super tasty.
Vermilion snapper are caught in the South Atlantic as well as the Gulf and the Caribbean. Generally, you can catch them with live bait, squid, or shrimp.
So, you know, you see the haze most of the time, that'll be the vermilion snappers, and they'll come up 25, 30, 40 feet off the bottom, swimming in the school together, and then you'll see these boomerangs up on top of them, and a lot of times that's gonna be the tunas. So I'm setting my bait at, say, 120 foot, my tuna bait, and then those fish are just coming off the snappers. All right. Feels like a tuna.
So when Mark and I were deep dropping for vermilions, you snuck a bait out?
Fun catching them on the light line too. There you go. Nice. Good job. All right. Pop the gaff out. Got him? Yep. All right, nice blackfin here. Made a couple drops, caught some nice snappers, and we've caught a blackfin. This is a good chunky one. This will be some good steaks tonight. Most of the tunas here don't get super big. Our typical blackfins are 15 to 30 pounds. We will get a couple nicer ones, but that's kind of the average size. So they're not giant, but they are super tasty.
We got a little benthic and pelagic combo going.
Surf.
Donahue's got some snappers, and I believe I have a tuna.
I had a nice tuna on, and Mark had some vermilion snappers on at the same time. So pretty neat fishing where you're catching some good dinner, both bottom feeders and the pelagic tunas up in the water column a little bit. Got my fish up here. My mates are just taking their time today.
Good.
Boom! In the box. We got plenty of tuna for dinner. Little combo. We caught a couple nice snappers on the bottom at the same time we caught a tuna. Got the double that time. Good dinner.
Vermilion snapper has a minimum size limit of 10 inches, and the bag limit is usually around 10 fish per person. 20 miles south in Delray Beach, Reed Brand, a second-generation fishmonger at Captain Clay and Sons Seafood Market, has cleaned and cooked his share of vermilion snapper.
Vermilion snapper is a light, mild, flaky fish. It's absolutely delicious, especially for people that want a fish that doesn't have a strong fish flavor. If you've ever had yellowtail snapper, they're gonna be very similar to each other. But yellowtail snapper is a shallower water, so the vermilion snapper is gonna have a little bit more moisture and a little bit of a fluffier texture with its deeper water diet. Being a light, mild, flaky fish like other snapper, or if you're from the north, similar to a flounder, it's great in a saute pan. It's mild tasting fish. You really don't want to overpower it with heavy seasonings. Salt and pepper is all you need, especially if it's really fresh, and brown butter does great. Put a thin layer of butter in the bottom of a pan, turn it on medium-high. Once that butter starts to simmer, lay your fillets in flat. The most important step is not to flip it. Let it sit in the same spot the entire time, and about 5 minutes in, you're gonna have a gorgeous crust on one side of that snapper. For larger snappers, I like leaving the skin and scales on and cooking it on the half shell. You put the skin side down, meat side up, season it with whatever you want, but you gotta make sure there's butter on at the end. Then 500-degree grill, close it until it's fully cooked. That butter will bubble up a little bit. And when you go to flip, you're probably gonna have your butter evaporated out of your pan, so you just wanna add a little bit more for the second side. The size fillets that I'm cutting right here, you're looking at about 5 minutes on the first side and just another 3 to 4 minutes on the second side, and you're done. And when it's fully cooked, take your spatula, go between the skin and the meat slides right off and the skin stays down, and that skin held all the moisture in. If you grill your fillets without the skin on, the moisture is going to drip out. You're going to lose some of the moisture. But the skin on, it's all going to be trapped in the fish. It's a delicious fish. If you haven't had it before, you ought to try it.
From the deep, these blessings come. But keep in mind, good things don't just appear. You have to go down into the depths and harvest them. Out of darkness, light.